People say the 90s were a simpler time. No smartphones, no internet noise, no constant buzzing in your pocket. Just cassette tapes, coffee-stained maps, and a police radio that barely worked half the time. But in that quiet, I found something that never left me. Something that doesn't live in sound, but in the silence between. My name's Ray Collins. In 1996, I was working night shifts for the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department out in Oregon. Graveyard duty. Most guys hated it. I preferred it. You get used to the dark when there's nothing waiting for you at home. I was 34, recently divorced. No kids, no dog. Just a rusty coffee maker, a flickering kitchen light, and a mattress on the floor. That cruiser, Unit 42, that was my real home. There's a stretch of road we all hated, Highway 12. Runs about 20 miles through thick pine forest. Nothing on either side but trees and fog. Locals called it the Quiet Mile, but we had another name for it, dead air, because once you entered that stretch, your radio stopped working. Not static, not crackling, just dead silence, like someone cut the cord between you and the world. And God help you if you had to stop there after midnight. On October 19th, 1996, I got the call at 11:46 p.m. Dispatch radioed in a 1066. Suspicious vehicle, parked just off mile marker 84, right in the middle of dead air. I acknowledged, said I was en route, then nothing. The radio went silent. No static, no clickback, no confirmation, just gone. I tapped the mic, switched channels, nothing. I should have taken that as a sign, but you know how it is when you wear the badge. You do the job, even when your gut's tying itself in knots. The fog that night was thick as wool. My headlights barely cut 10 feet ahead. When I finally saw the vehicle, it was an old brown Ford Granada, parked half off the shoulder. No lights, no engine running. Looked abandoned. I pulled up behind it, engine idling, and stepped out. The air was ice cold. Far colder than it should have been for October. And the silence, it wasn't normal. No crickets, no wind, not even the creaking of trees. Just an empty stillness that made your ears ring. It felt like the world was holding its breath. I approached the driver's side slowly. The windows were fogged up from the inside, which was odd, considering the temperature. I knocked once on the glass. No movement, no sound. Then, just as I reached for the handle, I heard it. A voice, soft, from inside the car. It said, "Help." Just one word. Quiet, weak, but I heard it, clear as day. I opened the door fast, hand near my sidearm, but there was nobody in the seat. The cabin was empty. No driver, no passenger, no signs of a struggle. Only thing in sight was a cassette recorder on the passenger seat, one of those old handheld types. The red light was on. It was already playing. I picked it up. The tape was halfway through. I hit rewind, then play, and what I heard chilled me to the bone. The voice on the tape was hoarse, panicked. It said, "He's in the static. He lives in the silence. Don't stop driving." Then a loud pop, like a burst of feedback. After that, the tape went quiet for a few seconds, and then I heard my own voice, my voice, saying the exact same thing, but distorted. "He's in the static. Help me. Don't stop." That's when I dropped the recorder. I stepped back from the car, heart thudding in my chest. My breath was fogging up in the air now. The temperature had dropped even lower. I turned around to head back to the cruiser, and that's when I saw him, in the rearview mirror of my car, a figure, standing dead center of the road. He was tall, too tall, dressed in black. But what froze me was his face, or lack of one. It wasn't a face at all. It was static, like the snowy screen of a dead TV, flickering, buzzing, glitching in and out like a bad VHS tape. I spun around, and he was gone, vanished into the fog, like he was never there. I ran back to the cruiser, jumped inside, locked the doors, started the engine. My hands were shaking. Then the radio lit up, but it wasn't dispatch. It wasn't even English. It was this warped, backward noise, like someone rewound a tape of screams and whispers. I heard children laughing. I heard a woman sobbing. Then I heard my own voice, screaming in agony. And right then the cassette player in the cruiser clicked on by itself. A tape started playing, the same message, only this time it ended with a whisper. "You've already heard this before." I floored the gas and drove straight through the fog, past every mile marker until I hit the first sign of town. Once I crossed back into normal range, the radio came back to life, clear, like nothing had ever happened. When I got back to the station, I tried to log the report. Dispatch said there was no 1066 logged that night. No call, no transmission. The log was empty. I asked them to pull dashcam footage from Unit 42. They said the car hadn't had a camera installed yet. They were still waiting on new equipment. I ran the license plate on the Ford Granada. It came back scrapped, totaled, in 1981. I left the department 3 weeks later, moved to Arizona, started doing odd jobs. I never talked about that night, not even to the therapist they sent me to for stress management. I told myself it was a hallucination, a breakdown, the result of too much coffee, too little sleep. But last night, I found a package on my doorstep. No return address, just brown wrapping paper tied with string. Inside was a cassette recorder, the same model, the same scratches on the casing, already playing. And on the tape was my voice, screaming, and at the very end, a whisper, barely audible through the hiss of static. "See you again, mile marker 84."